This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injuries and additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
It's Monday, beautiful people. Happy Monday. Hope y'all had a great weekend. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all could be watching any show. You are hanging out with us on this beautiful Monday morning, and we do not take it for granted. I hope you're enjoying your morning coffee, maybe your bowl of Cheerios, whatever the case it is. Cheerios. You may eat. Cheerios. It was that was actually Cheerios cornflakes. Yeah, cornflakes.
Many weeks.
You saying all the
Frosted Flakes.
No sugar.
No sugar. But here's the thing.
Some sugar.
I learned it. I learned it.
Put some sugar in there.
Cocoa Pebbles.
Thank you, sir.
Fruity Pebbles. You don't need no Fruity Pebbles? No Apple Jacks?
I see the first couple you said.
But
cornflakes and Cheerios.
I learned at an early age if there is like an animal on the cover of the cereal box, you shouldn't eat it. It's not good for you.
Frosted Flakes.
So I had to say, that's the thing. I had to start out the Lucky Charms, have those Apple Jacks.
That's a leprechaun.
Who made that law?
It's a rule of thumb.
But I'm saying, ain't it an animal on cornflakes? A chicken. I think it's a tiger.
The tiger's on Frosted Flakes, not on cornflakes.
I think cornflakes is a little animal too. It's a rooster. Trust me, man. I know. Y'all know where I came from.
If it's just like an unspoken rule, like if it has an animal.
I never heard that rule.
Well, is a rooster an animal, sir?
I do believe that the rooster is in fact an animal. On the far end, that Super Bowl champ of the Packers, James Jones. James, how's the weekend, sir?
The weekend was good. I know my cereals now, dog. You know what I'm saying? The good ones, the bad ones, all that. I know them all.
To his right, we got the quarterback. There are no more games in session. So what do you do with the three kids over the weekend?
And we did fake Father's Day because we're traveling next Sunday. So FFD, we did fake Father's Day yesterday, and it was awesome. Breakfast in bed.
Who established this? Like, did the father
My son.
dictate the fake?
No,
so your son knows when
7-year-old.
Father's Day is?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know when Father's Day is.
Fake Father's
really?
Day.
Yes.
We always travel to Colorado on Father's Day.
There, okay.
So he knows
There we go.
can't celebrate Dad. So we went to a children's museum. We went to Aaron Space Museum. Dinner. It was great. Breakfast in bed.
FFD, 2-5.
Every day.
What you do all weekend, 2-5?
Just kept it real. You know the normal. Regular. Out here.
What is the weekend of not keeping it real look like? That's what I
See how to me though, right? I mean, you can't even see that. You know what I mean?
Fake.
That's Eagles Hall of Famer LaShawn Shady, Mr. Keep It Real McCoy. Hey, the Thunder, they got back on track yesterday. It was the NBA Finals, Game 2. After the Thunder had an embarrassing end to Game 1 and somehow lost, they put the foot on the neck of the Pacers. A 16-point W, 123-107, a game in which they led the majority of it. The series now tied 1-1. Had to bring in the basketball expert, Rick Bucher, because if you're talking hoops, you better be talking to the man to my left. For those that do not know, Slick Rick Bucher has covered basketball for the last 30-plus years. Glad to have you here, Slick. Good to see you, sir.
Good to be here.
Slick, is a rooster, is it on the cover of Cornflakes?
Yes, it is. You know how I grew up.
It's not.
I done ate a lot of cornflakes, dog. All right,
it's the logo of
it's
Kellogg,
a rooster on there.
It is. It is a
It
logo.
ain't even good like that. You like that?
No, it ain't
What's
good.
up, Slick?
What's up?
James Jones, Thunder, 1-1. One at home. Dominant win. 16 points. Is it fair to say the Thunder have taken control of the series?
I thought we was gonna go to the basketball savant on
No,
this
no,
one
no, no,
first.
you get-
Absolutely. I think
get to
they-
drive the bus.
I truly believe they've had control of this series since the series started. The Pacers led for 0.3 seconds. Kudos to them. But when we watch these basketball games, to be honest with you, I see two totally different teams on the basketball court. I see one team that they got to make a bunch of mistakes to lose the basketball game. And I see one team that has to play perfect basketball to win the basketball game. They easily should be down 2-0 right now. SGA is playing at an MVP level as the MVP he is. They have no answer for him. Mid-range, three-point, him making people around him, but they have no answer for him. When I watched that game yesterday, it was similar to the game before, to where I seen dominance from start to finish. They just finished this time, Slick. And I have confidence in the OKC Thunder, man, that this series been over It is over, and kudos to the Indiana Pacers for getting them a game. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to disrespect them. They might get them one more. Who knows? You're going to the house. But this here is over. When I watch these two teams play basketball, I see a team on a whole different level than the other team. And I know it's the finals, and I know that it could go either way, but it's going one way. And that's OKC's way.
It's interesting because I don't see that at all.
Nope.
I don't see that at all.
Did we watch the same
We watched the
game?
exact same
Both
game.
of them.
Both of them.
Okay.
Both of them.
Yeah, I watched it too, bro.
Thunder haven't taken control of this series for several reasons. Number one, the Pacers already got a game. They did their job. And the reason we know the Pacers feel good about where they are is because what the Pacers did last night, they never do. They pulled their starters out with 4 minutes left, and it was just a 15-point game. That's when I knew the Pacers feel great about where they are. Pacers don't give up with 4 minutes left, down by 15. They've come back down by 15 with 4 minutes left 2 times already in the playoffs. So as soon as the Pacers did that, I said to myself, Pacers not worried about this. They literally said to themselves, because we've already stolen the game, I'm going to save Halliburton's legs. I'm going to save Siakam's legs. I'm going to save Miles Turner's legs. I'm going to save Toppin's legs. When the Pacers pulled their starters with 4 minutes left, I said, they feel good about where they are, so I feel good about where they are. Furthermore, the Thunder are never safe. And that's the fear of God that the Pacers have put into both Thunder and Thunder's fans and bettors alike. Because the Pacers have not only come back from down an absorbent amount of points in a minimal amount of time in every series preceding this, they also came back down in this series. Thunder are never safe. Thunder can never be in control of this series until they do something the Pacers haven't experienced, and that is this. If the Thunder can beat the Pacers in back-to-back game, then I'll say they're in control. Pacers haven't lost back-to-back games in 38 games since March 10th. Beating the Pacers once, that's nothing. Everybody has beat the Pacers once in this playoff series. Beat the Pacers twice in a row, then you can suggest that you're in control of the series. But up until this point, the Thunder have done nothing to the Pacers that the Knicks ain't do, that the Celtics, that the Bucks ain't do, that no other team that they face has done. Thunder not in control of the series, not yet, at least.
Yeah, I agree. Look, they took home court advantage, right? And there's only 2 teams in NBA history who have won the first 2 games on the road. And that's the 93 Bulls and the 95 Houston Rockets. And while both of them were lower seeds, as Indiana is, they were also both defending champions at the time. So I'm not going to put the Indiana Pacers in that same category. Look, the OKC won game 2 over the Nuggets by 43 points. It's what they do. After they lose, if they lose game 1, they're going to respond in big fashion. And to your point, this was a Rick Carlisle, you know what? We're going to let you know. We're not going to give you the opportunity to take this to the end and beat us by 20.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to say, hey, we pulled the plug.
Y'all got it.
We gave you this
That was
one.
over, though.
Right? You know what? Honestly, it's never over because this is what Rick Carlisle and the Indiana Pacers know, or at least are testing with the OKC Thunder. They're trying to take advantage of the fact that the Thunder won so many blowout games, and even in these playoffs have won more than half of their 13 wins have been blowouts. And so they're testing, can you play for 48 minutes? Can you maintain your focus and intensity for 48 minutes? Because we're just going to keep coming. Regardless of what the score is, we're going to keep coming. And it worked for them in game 1. And it's the way the Indiana Pacers have essentially played in these playoffs. So I expect a seesaw series. I had OKC coming in, winning the series, but I also thought that the Pacers had the opportunity to push it to 6 or 7 games.
You did say that.
And nothing that has happened to this point changes my mind.
Yeah. You know, I truly think OKC is a better team.
Yeah.
Right? They're my favorite. Even when they lost game 1, I still felt comfortable about, hey, they're going to win this series. Now, I will say this. Knowing all that and saying all that, they are not in control of this series because the Pacers, they did their job. Yo, go steal one. A playoff series don't even start until the opposing team, right, on the road goes there and gets a win. They did that the first game. So, yeah, even though OKC is a better team, they look better, right? Even the first game, they play a lot better. But they lost that game. Yeah. So until you go to Indiana and get a win, I can't say you control anything. You control the look. You look better.
Yeah.
We think you should win. You got an MVP on your team. We can see that. But other than going out there in Indiana and winning, I I can't say you control nothing.
And to Shady's point, not only do you have to go to Indiana and win, you got to win the first one in Indiana. You win the second one in Indiana, it's still just 0-0. As long as the Pacers can keep the series 0-0, what I mean by that is it's all knotted up. Series tied 1-1, series is 0-0. Series tied 2-2, series is 0-0. Series is tied 3-3, series is 0-0. The longer the Pacers can keep this series at 0-0, the longer they win. Because now they're just kicking it down the field, kicking the ball down the field. Then they just have to go steal one. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so they led for 0.3 seconds. So watching these first two basketball games, what gives you confidence that these Indiana Pacers can push this to 7 or get back in control of this series?
Because they've done it so many times through these playoffs.
Yeah, but we talking about
like,
two totally different teams, though. Now, Slick. Like they really beat up on a bunch of injured basketball teams. You have a healthy OKC. That's why I'm saying when I watch these two basketball teams, with both of these teams being healthy on the basketball court, it ain't close. And that's why I say OKC has control, because they don't even look like they on the same level. And I know it's 1-1 when you just look at the record. Sure, you did your job, you got one. But watching them both play, it don't even look like they on the same level. It's extremely hard for Halliburton to score. Ooh. Nobody else is, they doing their little team thing, and he got 15, but every single game they down by double digits the whole dang game.
And that's why
that's why I got to say they in control.
And I like that if I said it looks like that, right? And so they go win. But another thing is, they're a better team.
Sure.
Like, I keep saying this, the Pacers remind me of like a really, really good die-hard college squad, right? We're going to play together. Because if you look at the number like 15, 14, 16, 11, 17 points, 14, like, come on. Who's dominating here, though? You go to the other side of the court, you go see, okay, when we need them, like, if you even watch the way they're playing, SGA, he ended up with like 34 points, but if you really watch the game, he got everybody involved, right? Shots he would normally get deep in the paint and shoot, he wasn't. Kicking out, getting everybody involved. And then, once everybody got involved and they feel comfortable and they got some confidence, let me go and get my 34.
Easy buckets.
I can't see a world where the Pacers can beat the Thunder.
But here is why I feel like the Thunder should feel great. Because as much as James is saying they're better, the Pacers should feel great.
They should feel good.
Because as much as James and Shady and I would agree that the Thunder are just a better team, the Pacers got one.
They did.
They got one. They got one.
Better team all you want. We played 48 minutes and we won the game.
Yeah.
So with all due respect, it sucks that the Thunder have led this much and lost. Like I remember in high school when you play those teams and they got them crazy athletes and they go out there and they do a windmill dunk on you, whole crowd goes crazy. You go to the bench and what's your coach always say? Dunk only worth 2 points. Dunk only worth 2 points. So like as much rah-rah and hoopla, it's only worth 2 points. The Pacers being down the whole game but winning at the end, it didn't matter. Yeah. It's for the best. It's better that y'all were down the whole game and won at the end as opposed to being up the whole game and losing at the end. So to me, I feel great about where they are. I just don't feel great about Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
After last night's performance, James, I feel like vindicated. Shady, to a large degree, vindicated because Tyrese Halliburton cannot be a superstar and have that kind of performance. And I got to be honest, because I'm the one who's to some degree leading the charge, especially on this show, suggesting that Tyrese Halliburton is one of them ones, a budding superstar. You can't be a budding superstar and then we omit the criticism of you when you have a performance like that. 5 points through 3 quarters, and then you get 12 points in the fourth quarter, really meaningless 12 points because it was for no good. By the time you get that last bucket, coach pulls you out the game because it was way too little, way too late. You can't be a star and have a performance like that because that tells me then are you actually a star? Stars don't perform like that. Stars have bad games, sure, but superstars do not perform on a stage like that. Look at what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doing, and I'm not suggesting that Tyrese Halliburton is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We know that just by nature of the MVP award, but there was a lack of a concerted effort to do anything well. Yeah. If you're not going to score, that's fine. I said we shouldn't judge Tyrese Halliburton by scoring, but you didn't drop dimes either. Yeah. You didn't crash glass either. You didn't get the steals you usually get either. You didn't impact the game in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So I was very disappointed in Halliburton last night. Slick, did you see it the same way?
I did not, because I've seen this too many times. And it's, to your point, it's not a matter of whether he's scoring or not. It's a matter of whether he's getting to the paint, because that's going to open it up for everybody else. Whether he's aggressive attacking. See, I don't, what's he doing at the midcourt line? Like, how is it that you're that far out being pressured? You should be attacking. And so, I can go through it. and excuse me, I don't like to keep negative thoughts in my head. So
I respect it.
So I'm going to have to look at my notes to give you the rundown. But Game 3 versus the Bucs, he had 8 points on 9 shots through 3 quarters, and 7 of them were 3-pointers. Milwaukee won. Game 3 versus Cleveland, he had 2 points on 6 shots in the first half. Cavs took a 66-45 halftime lead, never looked back. Game 5 for versus the Knicks, he has 2 points and 1 assist in the first quarter, 4 points on 3 shots in the first half, and the Knicks won. I've seen him come out and not put his imprint on the game, and as a result, everything else falls apart for the Pacers. So I've seen this before, but I've only seen it once, maybe twice in a series for the most part.
Correct.
So that's where my belief is. I'm not going to see this consistently from him, and why the Pacers still have a chance.
You giving the Pacers a chance?
I am giving the Pacers a chance just because OKC is still an unknown for me playing for a championship. And I think honestly, the heart of it is Rick Carlisle has impressed me to the nth degree, and Mark Dagnall has me questioning, does he know what strings to pull at the right time? He's been reactive when I'm thinking, dude, you came into this with the best team.
Get back to Halliburton, though, real quick before we talk to this.
Rick Carlisle, he ain't out there dribbling that ball. He don't feel that pressure.
No doubt.
No. And that's the other part. The longer this goes, Indiana's playing with house money. Nobody expects them to win. If this is 2-2 and we're coming back, OKC's going to be feeling it in Game 5.
James Halliburton,
we're in the finals though, Slick. Right? We can't have. You got 3 points in one series in the game, 8 points in one series in the game. You the star player. And then now you come in this game. At one point in the game, through 3 quarters, he had more turnovers than he did points.
Right.
And that's just true facts. And then, you come in the fourth quarter and you shooting the ball, you taking shots, and some of them falling. But for me, this is disappointing because you are the superstar. And it's another superstar on the other side of the court that's just giving buckets out for fun. Right? And he ain't even smiling. He ain't even sweating. He ain't doing nothing. But for me, this is back-to-back bad games. I don't know how y'all feel. Kudos to you finding a way to make the last shot to win the game. But the OKC Thunder been playing that defense on you. You had 14 points in Game 1, and then in this game you had 5 points through 3 quarters. That's called getting locked down. If I go in one game
I agree. I disagree.
I can't go that far.
Man, if I go in one game and I had 2 catches, and the next game I got 1 catch, that's called being locked down. 14 points and 5 points, that's called being locked down on the defensive side of the ball. Please make it make some sense to me, too.
Yeah, before I go, right, he ain't being locked down?
The reason I got to vehemently disagree with that statement is because at the end of the game, the Thunder were still playing defense. And when Halliburton made a conscious decision they were still playing defense. They put Caruso in the game because Halliburton started to get hot and put Caruso directly on Halliburton. So they were definitely playing defense. I had money invested. Trust me, I was watching.
You've been in games and it's over, and you're out there?
The difference for me is this. Halliburton made a concerted effort to be aggressive. Think about it. He ran off the one screen. There was still a defender chasing him. Tray ball. Corner tray ball right before he got pulled out the game. Gets into the paint, hits the floater. There was a concerted effort to be aggressive and actually take shots, and he ended up making shots. It's not like at the end of the game, Shady, they was just leaving him wide open.
I mean, but like the intensity dies down. You know this. Y'all played.
I don't believe it dies down against the Pacers.
So timeout.
You know it can't die down.
So hold on. Well, real quick, let's get this straight. So you had a whole game to play well.
Yep.
You're the superstar. And you wait till the last couple of minutes to show up when y'all were getting smoked? What are we talking about?
I disagree with that. You're right.
I watch how on defense they was targeting him. You ever been like in the hood just playing basketball, right? You go to some else's neighborhood and you hear the whisper, how good this dude is. And everybody like, I can't wait to get it. It looks like how OKC's guarding. I got it. No, I got it. Yo, I can't see a world where he can get free. They own him.
I don't buy that for a second.
All right, well, look. You don't buy it, right? And you don't buy it. I'll just say this. Is it a coincidence that the first game, we couldn't find him? Last minute, he comes and he saves the day. Great shot, they win the game. We loving that. But if they don't win that game, you're going to be asking, have you seen Halliburton? Last night, I don't know how y'all seen it. I seen the defense on his behind all game. Late in the game, he started making some shots. Cool, I can live with that. All I know is the defensive guys from OKC, and they hit, we got him. I don't think he's like, I got them. I don't think he's saying that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think
so when we going back home, the question mark is going to be with all the coaches. How can we get Halliburton free?
Sure.
How can we get him going? Because if he don't get going, we can't win. I don't know what y'all watching. I know if I'm a coach, I'm not happy. If you're the coach of the Pacers, if you're Rick Carlisle, are you happy the way he's been playing?
Well,
are you happy?
Game two, certainly not. Yeah. Game one, I think he was getting into the paint and he was getting things for them, right? And I've just seen it consistently over the playoffs where Halliburton stops himself.
Correct.
Like one game, he's getting busy and he's getting to the paint all he wants, and whether he's scoring or he's getting other guys' shots, like he's getting there. And then there's games where I'm like, you're not even trying to get there. So I can't give it all to OKC that they stopped him, because I've seen Halliburton stop himself too many times. And in this game, he just was not aggressive getting there for whatever reason. His ability and their ability to get him the ball on the move and for him to get inside with his length and his handle is, I haven't seen anybody completely lock him down.
I agree.
I'm going to say one real quick. So what about all these other superstars that OKC's going against, right? Like, I watched them have Ant-Man and all type of defensive stops, and you were saying this and that. I said, Acho, where you want him to go? The way they play defense one-on-one, and then the way they rotate, and the way they help, it's hard to score on that. Let's go to the Nuggets, right? If Jokic's going to get his shots off, but sometimes Ray's playing good defense on him.
Murray.
I'm about to say Murray. It's times when Murray went off, and then sometimes like, the milk carton, is y'all seeing? So all I'm saying is, yes, he's going to get going because he's really a good player. Good player is going to find a way to get something off. But the way this defense is playing, I haven't seen no defense in the whole playoffs look like this.
So this is Andrew Nembhard is the canary in the coal mine. They can play Halliburton off the ball and have Nembhard initiate everything.
Okay.
And now Halliburton is good at moving without the ball, unlike an Anthony Edwards. Even unlike a Jamal Murray to a certain extent. If he's not playing with Jokic directly, he's not the same factor. Halliburton has the capability of doing that. And if you look through the playoffs, Nembhard is the indicator, because every time he's a plus, they have won. And every time he's a minus, they have lost. So when he's effective, Halliburton can be effective because you can still be effective because you can play him off the ball.
But if you watched the game a little bit yesterday, they tried to do a little bit of that.
They did.
And every time my man came off the screen, they was in his, and he hurried up and passed the ball.
Yeah, hot potato.
So for me, it's just, if this was any other player that we believe is like that, and the first game you got 14, hold on. The first game you got 14 points.
Yeah.
And then the next game you got 5 through 3 quarters and more turnovers than points. We will be sitting here talking about they don't have no answer for OKC defense. We will be saying that.
How about this? Come on now.
But Halliburton is not I have to score to make my impact.
With 5 points in 3 quarters.
Trying to tell him that.
It ain't even about the points. He had 3. He had 3 assists too, though, and he had 6 the first game.
I agree with all of that. But the fact that he had 14 in game 1 doesn't put into his head, I got to get 25 or 30 in game 2. It's just not his mindset.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking about the impact of the game. You guys talking about passing. He had 6 assists.
Well, that's where I
got 3.
Where I agree with y'all is this. Halliburton in game 2 was atrocious. Where I disagree with y'all is in the fact that I think Halliburton has stopped himself more than they have stopped him. And the reason I suggest that is Halliburton wasn't even taking shots through the first 3 quarters of the game. Then when he started taking shots in the fourth quarter of the game, they were high level of difficulty shots.
And
they were pump defender run, and he was making them. He wasn't taking wide open, we're not accounting for you, Halliburton, we're already up by 15, this game is over. That's not OKC's mindset, especially when they were up by 15 and lost the game. I can assure you that wasn't their mindset. He was making high level of difficulty shots because he was taking them. So to me, 2-5, the only place I disagree with y'all is saying that he was strapped up the whole game. That's where I just vehemently disagree.
I just want to ask the question. So you're telling me, oh man, OKC, they didn't shut him down. He shut himself down, you're saying?
Yes. Like he didn't take shots.
What's the difference? There's no difference. Either the defense is doing it or you're not scoring, you're not scoring. You're not part of offense, you're not part of offense. I don't know who cares. I don't care who's
Here's why I think there's a difference. I'll answer from an athlete perspective. Go ahead.
Let me hear it.
The difference for me is if I'm shutting myself down, then I can turn myself back on. if you shut me down, it ain't nothing I can do about it. It ain't nothing I can do about it because it's up to you whether or not you shut me down or not. But if I'm shutting myself down, it's in my control. I got the power. I can turn it back on when I want to. Same with LeBron James versus the Dallas Mavericks the first time we saw them in the finals. Dirk and Kidd and them ain't shut LeBron down. LeBron shut himself down. And then the next time they saw each other the next year, and the Heat went to the next series against the Spurs, Bron activated. So to me, if an athlete shuts himself down, he can turn himself back on.
You not producing. We're not about to be talking about whose fault it is. We're gonna go to the defense. Why you not shooting the ball? Y'all acting like it's so. Well, he's just not shooting because he just don't want. I guess he don't want to, or
he's not mentally. He's not attack.
Yeah, he's not there. We in the finals, man. That's the excuse. Either you producing or you not.
Right.
We're not having a counselor ask you, hey, so why wouldn't you shoot the ball in the first 3 quarters?
That is real fast.
How did you feel you missed your first 2 shots? What are we talking about? This is not counseling.
That's the best way to say it.
NBA Finals.
That's the best way
We trying to win. You got a whole city waiting on you, man. You talking about he shut himself down. I never heard nothing like that.
If you,
brother, viewers, people, fans.
Or get with a real counselor, too, so you think 14 points going to work.
we talking about the best player on the Pacers.
You're going to have 5 in the third quarter, and you think that's going to be good enough to help your team win?
Y'all going to tell me shut himself down?
Knowing how big the medical staffs of NBA teams are right now, there may be a psychologist having that conversation right now. I'm not lying.
Got the elevator music on there. You know, elevator's going fucking slow. Celebrating. That's it. Like, what? Hey. Come on, y'all.
Well, we got to talk about the breaking news that occurred over the last week. The Steelers, they got Aaron Rodgers, but we found out he only signed for a 1-year, $13 million deal. So after passing on Darnold and Justin Fields and Russell Wilson and Geno Smith and committing to Rodgers for just $13 million, did they get it right? Don't forget, check us out every day. Fox Sports Channel, Sirius. Aaron Rodgers officially a Steeler, but now we've seen the deal. You see him signing it right there.
Oh, he cut the gray? Okay. He cut the gray?
I don't know. We've got to ring on that finger, though. We will find out. Hey, but Rodgers signed for just $13 million. So when you think about everybody the Steelers could have acquired this offseason, now we have the full picture. Geno went for $37.5. Darnold went for $33.5. Justin Fields for just north of $20 million. Aaron Rodgers, $13.7. And Russell Wilson, the Steelers starting quarterback of last year, for $10.5. We have been highly critical of the Steelers and how they handle things, but again, we didn't have all the information. Now we do. Aaron Rodgers, just $13.5 million. James, now that you have all of the information, can you suggest the Steelers got it right with Rodgers?
Yeah, they had us all nervous and scared and all that you was going to go into the season with those quarterbacks you had on the roster. But, yeah, they ended up getting it right because even with all those dudes on that roster, if you paid them all the same amount of dollars, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback. So you could have went after Sam Darnold. You could have went after Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and all that. But Aaron Rodgers, at 41 years old, is still the best quarterback on that list. And you got him at the price that you got him at. So I definitely believe they got it right. It would have looked whole lot better if George Pickens was still there, but we'll talk about that later. But I definitely think they got it right, man. Aaron Rodgers still can play some good football, man. He does. He got a lot of good football left in him, man. I had sent something to my dog Shady because I'm like, man, I know we always want to talk about wins, but Aaron Rodgers, before the Achilles, was still playing really good football. He had 91 touchdown passes and 27 interceptions. This is Aaron Rodgers not including the Achilles season. Any team will take that. This is Aaron Rodgers not including his Achilles injury season. My man still has a lot of good football left to play. He's extremely smart. The football is coming out of his hands, so it's going to help your O-line. He still can play good football. So they absolutely got it right if you ask me.
Graphics.
You know what I'm saying? I did it just for you. I did it just for you.
But probably the best agent of all time, Drew Rosenhaus.
Yeah.
He put me on something like this. He said, hey, listen, I can make any stat look great.
That's what I called before.
Yo, look. I'm looking at, he had like a little brochure he was showing everybody. He was trying to recruit. And it was Adrian Peterson on the left side, had me on the right side. And from the way it looked, like I'm way better than AP. So I said, what you got going on here? He said, yo, from the money, from this, that, he can make any stat look how he wants to. Because it's the same stats where I can show guys that don't have them type of stats and less, and they got more wins. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you want?
His team.
Anyway, yes, the Steelers, they got it right. Thank God they're not going to that season with them type quarterbacks. I think the owner's happy now. He can talk about a quarterback that he knows exactly who he is, what's his number going to be, and what's his name. But you still have DK Metcalf, who I think is really, really good. I think this the veteran part of Aaron Rodgers, he will play well. So they got it right. Only thing is, it's funny, it's like for a quarterback, when they get older, then they want to get the market right. Mm-hmm. Because I was looking at all them quarterbacks on there with everybody got paid this offseason, and I'm thinking like, who would pay Justin Fields? Was it 30 million, 20 million?
20.
Who would pay him that? I don't think it's a big market for people to give him 20 million. Geno Smith, he's okay, but like, are we dying to pay him 35? Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold, you had a great year and nobody wanted to even talk about being that quarterback at a certain number. So I just want to mention that because I hate how the market is. It's only for the quarterbacks. I was telling the NFLPA rep this, like, anyway. But I was saying, like, why does it wait for a quarterback to get older before they get the right amount of money they're supposed to get?
That is
where
fair.
every other position is like, oh, man, you're a little older. He's not as, we can't pay him that. I just hate how that goes.
And to Shady's point, Fields got $30 million guaranteed. He got $20 million over the course of each year.
About that,
$40 million deal, but $30 million guaranteed. Chase, talk to us. You're the quarterback. Did the Steelers get it right?
I'm back and forth on this one. And for this year, yeah. But for the last 8 years since Big Ben, no, they haven't. I'll focus mainly on this year. When you get a guy, a future Hall of Famer, for $13.65 million, I mean, guys, that is very cheap. They won that, no doubt about it. But then you look at what they could have had, and they wanted 5 other guys before Aaron Rodgers. Like, their number one was Matthew Stafford. That's how I see the only way they got this right is if they would have gotten Matthew Stafford, because you know you have a franchise guy for the next 2 or 3 years. With Rodgers, it's a 1-year rental. So that's fine and all, but I still don't see them making the playoffs. And if they do, I don't see them winning a playoff game, because I don't think Aaron, at this point in his career, like your stats, 91 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay, but you know, to Shady's point, the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers or Jets have not made the playoffs in 3 years. Yep. They have not been they have not made the playoffs. And so his 2021 MVP season is great, but you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule, they're the 10th toughest schedule in the NFL. Pittsburgh lost their leading rusher, leading passer, leading receiver. And the last 3 times that has happened, guys, teams have finished 2-15, 3-13, 5-11. So I just don't know why all of a sudden we think that this Rodgers team is going to make the playoffs and make some noise. They have some issues on defense. You know, they traded away George Pickens. I think it would have helped if they would have stayed. But for me, it's like, man, I can't shake that they haven't won a playoff game since 2016.
Now, that's fair.
And so for me, it's like, what does Rodgers get you 1 year, and then you're starting all over again next year?
The reason I'll say they got this right is, and obviously I talk a lot of blackjack often. I play with my dog 2-5, and I learned a lot playing with Shady McCoy, because you ain't always going to win, but you got to win more than you lose. And what I learned sitting at that blackjack table is you're not going to win every hand. Just make sure you make the best decision with the information you're given. That's acquiring Aaron Rodgers. If the Steelers aren't going to make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers, Chase, I would suggest they weren't going to make the playoffs with anybody. Because if you don't believe they're going to make the playoffs with Rodgers, they weren't going to make it with Justin Fields. They weren't going to make it with Russell Wilson. They weren't going to make it with Sam Darnold with the new system and Arthur Smith as a coach. They weren't going to make it with Geno Smith, who didn't make it last year with the Seattle Seahawks. So at least Aaron Rodgers gives you the best chance at success. Now, I agree. I don't know how great a chance at success it is, but Aaron Rodgers is probably the best quarterback even right now on that list. Maybe you could suggest Russell Wilson on that list, and he's the second cheapest. Second cheapest. So if I can get Aaron Rodgers for $13 million and you got Geno Smith for $37 million and even more than that guaranteed, so you got Geno for 2 years and I get Rodgers for 1 year and I can get him again for another year, that to me is the best decision.
I get it, but no one else wanted Aaron Rodgers. There were other teams wanting Geno, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields. Yeah, but they never made the offer. They were riding with JJ. And so they never made an offer. So if you only have one team bidding, of course you're going to get $13.7 million. I sat up here, I was like, man, Aaron Rodgers at least needs to get 20-something.
So
all these other guys had a market.
So really quick, who the best quarterback on that list?
Rodgers.
And the Steelers got him for the cheapest.
Yeah.
How can we even go and circle around all these other stuffs and say they didn't get it right? They got it right. And you could have got lucky and got it right. He's the best quarterback up there. He's the oldest quarterback up there. He's the slowest quarterback up there. And all these dudes up there ain't messing with Aaron Rodgers, and they got him for that much money. Playoffs and all that, we just talking about did they get it right?
Maybe for this year.
That's all that matters, though. We can't talk about next year. We don't know it.
It's not all that matters. And you were you're the first one on the show to say it, and I agree with you. They've been stuck in QB conundrum forever, it seems like. And so at least with some of those other guys, maybe Russell has 2 or 3. This is Aaron Rodgers' last year.
So we say. To your point, so we say.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That's what I'm thinking. Based on the contract, it's not a 2-year deal, all this stuff. They have to start over from scratch again.
Let me ask you this, though,
and they
Chase.
can't get out of this cycle that's spinning.
But here's the question, though. Hold on, James. Because what I'm suggesting is, what was the alternative? Sam Darnold is not a better alternative. And now get this. Now you would have been stuck with Darnold for like 3 years. So now you're stuck with mediocrity and maybe below mediocrity for 3 years. If it's Geno Smith, now you're stuck with mediocrity, maybe below mediocrity for 2 to 3 years. If it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, now I would rather have a 1-year rental, move off of Aaron Rodgers in 1 year for this allegedly great quarterback class that we don't know how good it's going to be because you don't know how good any college quarterback's going to be. Now, the quarterback class is hyped up a lot, but again, I don't believe that either. You just never know. So, to me, Chase, all things considered, it's the best decision because then you can move off of them in a year. What's the alternative? Darnold is not a better alternative in my mind.
Hell no.
He can't be.
Hell no.
Explain that a little bit more. Because you're saying mediocrity, right? He didn't have a mediocre season last year, and it's one season, right? And he's been not great most of his career.
Yeah, been bad.
It's been bad, right?
Yeah, been bad.
But this could be a turning point for. I'm not saying Darnold's the answer. All I'm saying is like, there's a reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted Aaron Rodgers 5th out of all those guys. Now I don't know what it is. Okay, and probably because it's 1 year and they wanted to maybe have a guy for 2 or 3 years. I don't think it's the wrong decision for this year. I don't. I do think Aaron Rodgers probably gives them the best chance to win this year. I'm just saying, can you get out of this cycle of constantly spinning your wheels over 500? And there's not a quarterback out there, so I get it. It's just they haven't developed that's my bigger issue.
Got it.
Can I ask you a
and there's
question?
no way out after Rodgers because then what are you doing next year?
Let me ask you a question because we keep saying 5th, right? So you had a chance. Yeah. Russell Wilson, he ain't want to sell his house, nothing. He had an apartment there with him and Sierra after he sold his house and all that type of stuff. And Pittsburgh kept telling him, we don't want you, we don't want you, we don't want you. They easily could have gave Justin Fields $20 million.
We know they offered Fields, they offered Darnold. That's what we know for
certain. And they wanted Stafford.
Yeah,
Stafford was their number one.
Everybody wants Stafford.
Exactly.
All right,
yeah, true.
So that's 3 already.
We knew Stafford wasn't going nowhere. But how can we sit here and say Aaron Rodgers was the 5th dude that they wanted?
That's literally what we just told you. Stafford was 1, Fields 2, Russell,
well, we know
Darnold.
Chase is where Stafford can't. The reason I was you can't count Stafford.
Russell over Aaron? How can we say that?
I don't think so, yeah.
You don't think Russell's a better quarterback right now?
I think they wanted
I'm talking
Aaron, but it's more of like, he got so much with him. Like, yo, I'll be on your team, but I need some time.
You talking about Rodgers?
Yeah, so I think if Rodgers was down to sign like all the other quarterbacks, he might have been the number 1 option. But he got lots of with him. He took all the way down to, minicamp, OTA?
Yeah. Was he retiring? Was he not?
So, like,
he's gonna be
that
there
had a lot
tomorrow,
to do with I feel like the option and the picks, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that matters.
This is, now that we know how it's all played out, we will see how it will all ultimately play out. Hey, speaking of Russell Wilson, he's in New York, but one of his teammates has some major words about Russell Wilson.
Let's go, Russ.
Hey, can Russ live up to the hype? Because they are excited in New York, one of the biggest markets in all of the world. And Russell Wilson is the quarterback there. Let's talk about it now.
We talking about Russ, like, he's serious.
Russell Wilson is making a great impression on his new teammates. Wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson says Russ has been better than expected, and he couldn't be happier that he's a Giants quarterback. Russell Wilson, you got people on your team singing your praises. Better than expected. That is a lot of hype coming from a receiver that was there last year. Quarterback Jayden Daniels, do you expect Russell Wilson to be able to live up to the hype in New York?
Better than expected. I think Russ is going to play well. I don't expect him to live up to the hype because the hype was 10 years ago, 9 years ago when he was taking teams consistently to the playoffs, won a Super Bowl. Look, Russ, the last 41 games as a starter, he has played well. His teams are 17-24 with the Broncos and the Steelers. I think the Giants have a worse team than both of those guys. He plays well everywhere he goes. But if you look at the team he's on, now I know I'm the one up here not sleeping on the Giants. I don't think they're going to be good. I don't think they're going to be in the playoff race. I think they're going to finish 4th in their division. And quite honestly, on top of that, I'm not sure if Russ will get the whole season to do it. Because they did draft Jackson Dart in the first round. They went back up to get him. Usually, these guys play early. Now, I do think it's going to be an interesting decision for Brian Daboll because he's coaching for his job. If Russ plays well, say he has 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions halfway through the mark, but they're 3-5 in the season, I think they're probably going to lean toward making a change. So I don't know if you can say Russ lives up to the hype. I do think that he's exactly what this Giants team needs because this Giants team is young on the offense side of the ball. They need a leader. They need somebody who's done it at a really high level. They need a future Hall of Famer. I just don't know if Russ is going to keep the job for the whole year because they went and they drafted Jackson Dart at 20-something.
I think we're asking too much if we're asking Russ to live up to the hype. The reason is, I agree with Chase on the fact that Russ gonna ball. That's what Russ does. Russ balls since the day he walked into the NFL. He balled when he was at Wisconsin. He balled when he was at NC State. All he does is ball when he plays football, regardless of what organization he's been a part of, dating back to the last 17 years, including his collegiate career. The dilemma is the Giants don't live up to the hype, people. Giants haven't lived up to the hype since the 2016 season. And while I suggest the Giants have a really good defensive line, particularly a really good pass rush, you can't rush the passer if you don't have a lead and the opposing team is just running the ball. So you negate what the Giants can do well defensively. And then offensively, they have some weapons, but compared to the Cowboys who are rolling out there with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, compared to the Eagles who are rolling out there with Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith, compared to Washington that's rolling out there with Deebo Samuel and Scary Terry, what do the Giants actually have? Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Neighbors? Like, what do the Giants actually have? Tracy? There's a Saquon Barkley out there. So compared to the rest of not just the NFL, not just the NFC, but the NFC East, the Giants don't even have enough, in my mind, to support Russ to live up to the hype. Living up to the hype is 10 wins for me. Living up to the hype is a winning season. At minimum 9-8, I just think that's asking a lot for a team that won just 3 games a year ago. You want Russ to go from 3 wins to 10 wins? Give the man or some room for error. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think he meets that hype. I truly do. We talking about Russell Wilson here.
Yes, we are.
You know what's funny, though? It's when you say hype, I want to say, like what hype?
Yeah.
Because the last couple of years, the narrative has been on Russ is he's just been okay. That's why players that he's playing were like, yo, he's better than we thought he was.
Yeah.
Because what you thought was,
good point.
The first year with the Denver Broncos, it was bad. He wasn't really good. The team wasn't good, right? But Russ gets the blame for that. Last year with the Steelers, people caught the narrative, he didn't really play that well down the stretch of the season. Well, to tell you the truth, the defense was terrible, like 35 points a game terrible. But Russ played well, but that gets overlooked because how bad the teams were. But really breaks Russ down, when was Russell Wilson the best? Tell me when you think when he was the best.
I would say, Seahawks, 2014.
Well, when he had a good defense.
Fair.
Russ is at his best when he has a good defense. Yeah. Had some plays with his arm, had some plays with his legs, let the defense kind of do their thing, run the ball well. And he has a really good offensive coordinator. Yeah. I think they have all them things now. They have a really good defense. They're going to get after that quarterback. This is a passing league. They're going to be in there for that. Number 2 is, I look at Russ, he's going to make some plays the same way he made some plays last year with the terrible, struggling Steelers. And the bad Broncos team giving up 70-something points in a real game. I did watch that.
Yeah, but here's my fear.
And I also watched Russ beat Mahomes and he beat Josh at the crib. Don't forget that.
Sure, but Shady, I feel like you might be setting up Russ unintentionally because Russ is obviously somebody you support.
He's a good player. I like good players.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think Russ is a great player. I do not want us to go into the season believing this myth that the Giants have a good defense until they prove it. People, please. Y'all know I love me some defense. These are offensive legends around me I'm sitting here with. So I will submit to all of your authority regarding offense. But the Giants' defense was 24th in points, 21st in yards, and has not been consistently good in a long time. They have a good D-line. They have really good names on that D-line. They do not have a great linebacking core, and they do not have a great secondary. So I cannot come up here and say that they have a good defense, because the problem then, James, is if and when Russ struggles to win games, man, but I thought they had a good defense. I don't want y'all believing that lie. Y'all got to show me something.
No, the difference is Russ going to help that defense.
You can only help so much. He ain't making no tackles.
Tommy
nobody.
DeVito and Drew Lock, your Missouri brother, and I don't even know who they started the season. Who they started the season with? I forgot. And that's crazy.
Sure.
I don't even know who was in there. Who?
Wasn't it Daniel?
Daniel Jones.
He started.
Okay. No, I'm serious. The defense was on the field the whole dang game, and they was not playing with no leads, no nothing. So Russell Wilson, number 1, the answer is yes. He will live up to the hype. So Russell Wilson had 16 and 5 last year, 2,500 passing yards. Let's just say he has 29 and 10.
Great year.
That's because if he plays 6 more games, that's probably what it Can
There
be.
you go.
So he has 29 and 10. That means they are scoring points on the offensive side of the ball. That means Russ is probably staying on the field a little bit longer, playing some good football, which means the defense is going to be in some better situations. I'm really high on the Giants. They got everything you possibly can need to help Russ. They got speed at the wide receiver spot. Then they got another dude with speed and route running. Then they got a running back that got speed and could catch. And then you just drafted one, a Scatterboo, that could be physical. I like the Giants. Then
It sounds like you're talking about the Eagles, James. They got the Giants won 3 games
That's their
last
roster,
year,
though.
and they had all of that.
I just want to know.
They
what
had all of that last
But
year.
they didn't
minus
have
the Q.
But they didn't have the quarterback.
No doubt. But James,
so I'm
you
going
talking about the Eagles,
off of Russell Wilson with Brian Daboll. He had 16 touchdown passes and 5 picks in the game with my man Arthur Smith at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we all know how we feel about them developing quarterbacks.
That's true.
So with Brian Daboll, I'm saying we possibly can get a better Russ. If we get a better Russ, you're going to get a better defense, and it's not like they lacking talent on the defense side of the ball, especially with their front four. They are going to get after the passer. I'm high on the Giants. I can't wait to see the Giants play football. But if Russ plays well, I think this Giants team going to be good.
But you're a businessman, and you know that the Giants are in a business of winning. And if they don't win, okay, regardless of the stats, they're gonna play their rookie.
So that's what we're
how
different.
can he even get a chance to live up?
But that's
to
where
the
we're
hype?
different, because I think if Russ plays well, they're going to win. I do. And I'm not saying they're going to win 15 games or something. But if Russ plays well, I think it's going to come down to the end of the season to where they can be playing for a playoff berth. I really do.
That's fair. Hey, when we return, the Pacers, they did not play well, and thus, to James's point, they didn't win. However, the series is knotted up going back to Indiana, so you could suggest that the Pacers should feel great headed into Game 3, but somebody at this desk vehemently disagrees. It's the NBA Finals. No bigger moments in basketball, and we will talk about the next. Do not miss it. It's the Facility. Halliburton only scored 5 points in the first 3 quarters last night, and the Pacers lost the game. However, the series is tied 1-1, headed back to Indiana for Game 3. Here is the superstar, some would say, Halliburton, after the loss.
We got the split. You feel good about that. But we definitely wanted to play better tonight. I think our processes need to be a lot better for us to be successful here. So, it's still a race in the first of 4. So we're going to our home court, tied 1-1.
Going back, tied. They feel good. At least that's what it seems like. But Slick, how should the Pacers feel going into Game 3?
Confident, but conscientious.
Of?
Confident, conscientious about the fact that they have not played anywhere close to their best basketball, and they have to do something about the live turnovers. They've played reckless, and while playing fast is part of their formula, the fact of the matter is you were in the finals and you're playing against an OKC team that hawks the hell out of the ball at all times. Now, there's a reason why they led the league in the regular season and have led in the playoffs in steals. But even so, 24 steals in 2 games is a ton. And as I'm watching these games, a lot of them are just inattention in transition. There are times where, go fast, but be aware that you're in traffic. And the way OKC plays, somebody's always trying to sneak up behind you. Yeah. It would be like if I'm here talking to you guys, and James Jones has a history of looking at my notes. I'm not even making this up. This is true. Has a look. Then you know what? I need to be a little more conscientious and keep my notes right here while I'm talking to you cats. That's all.
I was
right?
a really good cheer in school.
That's what Indiana, they just need to tighten some things up. But you go home and realize, hey, it's 1-1. We're back at our crib, and we have not played our best basketball. And until OKC proves to me without a shadow of a doubt that they're forcing them not to play their best basketball, or they're going to dominate with Indiana playing a more efficient style of basketball, then I will buy that this is impossible for Indiana. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, they should feel really good about themselves, it being 1-1 going back to the crib. But they should not be super confident by the way they playing. You know what's crazy is every single team that OKC has played in the playoffs this year, probably besides the Nuggets going Game 7, even the Nuggets, we all say, they ain't playing their best basketball offensively. Why, Slick?
Right? You got to give that
Because
defense some
OKC's
credit.
defense is just different. The way they playing basketball right now is just different. But every single team they play, we're like, man, this team don't look the same. We got to start saying OKC is just like that and this defense is just like that. I'm not high on Halliburton's both games. I'm not. 14 points, and I'm saying 5 points. I'm not even giving them 12 points late in that game like Acho and them giving. It's 4 points and 5 points, right? That's not even double digits in 2 games. And we keep saying that about every team OKC's playing. Their defense travels. Their defense at home is elite. They are an elite team. You definitely should feel good. It's 1-1. Any team going back to the crib that got home court advantage at 1-1 should feel good. But watching those 2 games, I can't sit here and say I feel confident and feel good by the way they playing.
They should feel great.
You're not watching.
They should feel great because it's 1-1. I'm going to take the first sentence of James's take. That's all I need. Because it's 1-1. Ultimately, I don't care about everything else. I don't know if y'all ever been, going through things financially, looking at this, looking at that, and then you get that tax return back. And it's like, oh, I could take that trip I didn't know I was going to take. Like, it don't matter what else happened the whole year. Once something occurs that atones for all the sins of the past. Halliburton hitting that shot at the end of the game, won the game. Feel great. It's 1-1. Y'all went into OKC and y'all won a game. Remember, we all said that OKC was for sure going to dismantle them at home. Many of us either thought it was going to be a gentleman's sweep or a sweep. At minimum, sweep is out the window now. You should feel great. You're winning the series. You're winning the series. It's 1-1 and you going home. Now all you got to do is win 1 at home. Then you still feel great because now it's 2-2. Then all you got to do is go steal another one. Like, James, the Thunder are in the worst position. And the Pacers are in a great position right now. They've won the game, and the Pacers feel great because I think Carlisle is in their heads. To Slick's point, I didn't think about it until Slick mentioned it earlier. Why would Carlisle pull the starters out down by 17 with 4 minutes left? But against the Knicks, when you came back to win game 2, you were down by 15 with 4 minutes left. I had to go fact check it. Carlisle, you don't pull your starters out then unless you don't want the Thunder to actually execute beating all of your starters because then mentally they will feel as though they accomplished something, like we actually beat them. Instead, Carlisle's like, nah, y'all didn't beat us. We took our starters out the game. Like, it's the mental warfare that Carlisle's been playing since the series started. Why would the Thunder not start the lineup that had them go 12-4 and cruise all the way to the NBA Finals? Instead, you want to pull Hartenstein and start Wallace. Carlisle in their heads, bro. That's why, to me, I think you should feel great.
Oh, yeah? That what you think? All right. So we beat them from the first 3 quarters, but they ain't get to the last quarter. That's in their heads?
It's in their heads.
I'm just going to answer the question. They should feel good. They should feel good because they stole the game at home. I think once the road team steals the game at home, then now, okay, the playoffs has arrived now, right? Now you go back home. If you take your home court advantage, you have the advantage. Now, right now they have the advantage, right? Because OKC's doing catch-up right now. They're trying to catch up, right? We just tied the momentum up. But I would favor the Pacers just going back home. But I just think, man, this, and I didn't answer the question because that's what we do on this show, but this is over, man. They're a better team. You squeaked out that first one. God was on your side. God wanted more playoff basketball, or in finals basketball. Because there's no way I should have won that game. But you did, cool. All I'm saying is our star player that we say is a superstar, we argue every day, Izzy, he ain't been showing up.
Sure.
First game, he got some, he's been living good. Get that last shot, boom. But like James talked about, last game you had 5 points in 3 quarters, and this is the finals. You say how much he got his assists. He had 5 assists, 6 assists.
Yeah.
He had 5 turnovers to go with that.
6 turnovers.
You get what I'm saying? I just, there's not a place where I see these guys winning. And then you look at the box scores, and I forget the box scores. You watch the game, it's like we're trying to win with committee. All right, look, this game, I need you to give me 15. Yo, you give me 12. I never seen a championship team win like that. Have y'all? Because I could be wrong. I'm never always 100% right. I'm like 89%.
89.
You have to go back a while.
98%?
79.
Yeah, no, I'm 89.9% right. Normally times. But I'm trying to figure this out. It's like, I haven't seen a championship team have a college DNA.
Yeah.
We're like, let's pitch in together, right? We're going to team box out rebound, right? Yeah. We're going to average 15, 12, 13, 17. Hopefully one day you get 20. Like the other day, we had whenever producers talking about Toppin, right? How Toppin plays so well the first game. If only if he could have made 10 points next game. I'm thinking like 10 points. That ain't what he do. Now y'all counting all these people that contribute that don't really contribute. It's crazy to me.
Let me ask y'all this.
Ask me, because I know my money's going.
But before this series started, y'all each, I assume, would have said the Pacers would win one game.
Yeah, I said gentleman's sweep.
Right? And you said?
I said one or maybe
one game.
two.
No doubt about it.
Right.
And the game y'all would have said, because I think we had these conversations off air.
I said
they're
game
probably
one.
going to win. Oh, you said one?
Remember I was the only one that said, hey, they got to win by game.
You thought they were the Philadelphia 76ers against the Lakers.
I said that!
But conventional wisdom would suggest they'd probably win one game at home. Like, you lose the first two, then you'd go home and you'd win one game at home,
Push
right?
it to a fifth game.
No doubt about it. That's just conventional wisdom. You lose the first two at OKC. If that still is going to occur, that they'll go win one game at home, I would say, James, Shady, they're in a great position. Because now at minimum it's 2-2.
They won, yeah.
Like at minimum it's 2-2, going back game 5 and
okay. Saying they're going to win one right now at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
Oh, so now you don't think so
No, I'm
anymore.
saying I said it was going to be a gentleman's sweep 4-1. I didn't care
You're
where.
still saying with that.
Yeah, I didn't care where the win came from.
Yeah.
I don't know if my cable might be tripping.
No,
my TV might be blue.
Yeah, that worked. I see what you said.
Because what I'm watching is two totally different teams. Like Shady said, I don't care about box scores. I don't care about nothing. And we could talk all we want about Halliburton. When I watch these two teams play, they play better than them really for one possession with 0.3 seconds left in the game.
Let's go this, son.
You can't say that. You can't say
That's
that.
what it's been, though.
You don't come back from 20 in the fourth quarter and say that it was just one shot.
But they've been getting dominated, Slick.
Not in the fourth quarter, not of game one. They turned the tables
so I
on
give
them
one
in the fourth
quarter
quarter
instead of one possession.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you can make it again, look, I'm going to go based on the body language and what the Oklahoma City Thunder are saying after winning game 2, which was they weren't happy. They knew they put themselves behind the 8 ball by losing game 1. However, they lost it. And the fact of the matter is, they're 4-3 on the road. They're not nearly as formidable on the road as they are at home. So, and then I look at Indiana, and to answer your question, Shady, San Antonio Spurs won this way. Like, as great as Tim Duncan was considered, they got it from a multitude of players.
This when he was older, or this was when he was younger? What's that? Older, right?
It was such a long stretch.
It was when he was older.
But he was
14.
he was like a 25-12 guy. Like, he was never 35.
Hold on now. Like you said, like it's nothing. I mean, who else is getting 25 and 15? We said 25 and 15?
Indiana is unique in terms of who's going to get the 25. I don't know. It might be Aaron Nesmith.
See what I'm saying? That's like, come on.
Look, just because you don't know these names doesn't mean that they're not capable of it. I'm watching it, what they have done through the course of the playoffs. This is what Indiana has consistently done against teams that were supposedly better than them. And you can say the injuries, but the reality is, you know, people were questioning, are they going to beat Milwaukee? I mean, that was a question, right? Cleveland, there's no way they're beating Cleveland. New York, they're not beating New York. Like, they haven't been favored throughout this, and they've beaten teams the exact same way that they won game 1.
And we've also seen teams lose the same way. Remember, the Celtics dominated the Knicks the first 2 games of the series. However, the Knicks had wins. Because all of a sudden, the Celtics, who dominated the Knicks the entirety of the game, in the fourth quarter, they fell apart and the Knicks won. And ultimately, the Knicks won that series. Obviously, an injury occurred of which we don't know, nor do we wish or hope. Final thoughts.
The only thing is, like, there has to be somebody that can answer the call. You brought the Spurs, right? If the Spurs need a bucket, Pop could dial up a couple players. Yo, I know he can get it done. You would think that Siakam can get it done. He's struggling a little bit. He's playing okay. Halliburton, you would think he can go out there and get. He's been struggling. So my thing is, why I keep calling it the NBA versus the college guys is, in college, let's find a way to score. Let's use everybody from 1 all the way down to the 9th guy on the bench. When you look at that OKC, they have a guy. If it gets tight, we know where we're going with this ball. That's why if you watch the game, he had 34 points, SGA, but he got everybody involved early, and then he finished it off. The Pacers don't have that. So when I'm watching, it's like, man, it's so much pressure. We got to find who's going to be the guy to score for us.
I would agree with you 1,000% if they were coached by anyone other than Rick Carlisle. Because my confidence is Rick Carlisle is going to find that guy. He's going to find that.
All right, man, we're going to see. It's different when you got Dirk down. Hey, yo, throw the ball to Dirk. Let's get the Dirk. You don't have them Dirks.
Yeah, but they found Jason Terry.
Okay.
Exactly.
We're going to find out.
JJ Barea.
Hey, when we return, Jayden Daniels, the whole world found him after his rookie campaign. He lit up the sky, lit up the NFL world last season, but after going to an NFC Championship game as a rookie, can the Commanders actually duplicate their success? Remember, Scary Terry, last I checked, is currently a minicamp pulled out. So we will see what happens there. Hey, the Commanders start mandatory minicamp tomorrow. It is almost here for them to gear up for the season, but they might not have receivers. Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry, he's dealing with a contract dispute. And so while back on the field, Jayden Daniels is coming off an NFC Championship game appearance in his rookie campaign. James, the Commanders had a lot of success last year, a whole lot of it, but that team that surprisingly is already very old, they're the oldest team in the NFL right now. Scary Terry, contract dispute. Do you believe they can duplicate their success from last season?
I do, and that don't mean NFC Championship, though. I don't.
How can they duplicate without it?
I don't think success for the Washington Commanders means getting back to an NFC Championship.
Are they Super Bowl talented?
They have a chance.
But you've always told me this exclusively, and you and Shady argue about it all the time. If a team goes into camp that has the ability to get to a Super Bowl and they do not win a Super Bowl, it is a failure. So now you're saying if they don't even get to the NFC Championship game,
see what I'm saying?
Contradicting yourself.
Yo, you see what I'm saying with this guy?
Get him.
He's always
Get him, Macho.
I can't stand it.
Get him.
It's annoying, yo.
Number one, that is Lamar Jackson
Oh, my
and Josh
God.
Allen.
Yo.
Number two, I do know how hard it is, especially when you're a young quarterback. This was year one. Now, if this was year 5 for Jayden Daniels, absolutely. He's going into his second year. We all know how hard it is to get back to the NFC Championship game. So for me, I think this is a bona fide playoff team that's going to have a chance to compete for a championship. I do. Do not sit here and mess around with Scary Terry. You got a really good thing going on right now. Get that dude back in the building, but they absolutely are going to have success this year. They are going to be a playoff team this year with Jayden Daniels out there at quarterback, and they have a chance, just like anybody else, to go out there and compete for a championship.
Yeah. Wow. So I was prepping for this block, James, Acho, Shady, and I'm a huge Jayden Daniels fan. What he does on the field, he's done some special things that we haven't really seen on the field in a long time, especially as a rookie. So can they duplicate their success from last year? Yes, I absolutely think so. Will they? History tells us no. And I think a successful season, if you're duplicating it, is at least getting back to the NFC Championship game. QBs who started their conference championship game season after starting conference championship games in their rookie year, there's only been 3 players in the history of the game. Brock Purdy, Mark Sanchez, and Ben Roethlisberger. No QB has ever made the NFC Championship game their rookie season and gone on to win a Super Bowl at any point in their career. So I hope he's the outlier because history will tell you no. When you watch him on the field, and I say this to people who are like, oh, is he going to have a sophomore slump? Is he going to do this? They got better around him. It's hard to have a sophomore slump if you're a rookie quarterback that is a pocket passer first. He is a pocket passer first, then an extremely talented runner. Like when I'm watching him last year and defense has 20 games on him, I'm seeing him go through progressions at a clip that is unlike any rookie I've seen in a long time. And it doesn't guarantee success in your second season, but when you go out there, regardless if they're old team or not, offensively, that's what I can speak to. If you go out there and you get all-pro Deebo Samuel, and you go out and you get one of the best left tackles in the game, Larry Tunsil, and you re-sign that, you're trying to get better for the guy around you. There's a window of about 3 years here now that you have, while you have this guy on a rookie contract, that'll show you, hey, we can do things that are special. It is extremely difficult to get to the conference championship game. No one in their right mind thought the Commanders were going to make the noise they made last year. Yeah. And I say this, history tells us no, but if there's one way and one person that I'm probably banking on to be able to break history, it's Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I think he's phenomenal. Yeah, I think he'll have a successful second year for sure. I don't even think of him no sophomore slump. That's how good he is. I mean, to be honest, he's probably the best rookie quarterback I've ever seen, ever. Like, wow, who's this guy? That's just me. Everybody's a little different. But I was thinking about, like, even last year, right? He didn't have much. A lot of times with rookie quarterbacks, it's either this great defense that protects you or it's a great running game, a great offensive lineman that kind of protects. He didn't have none of that. He had one other Pro Bowler, and it was Scary Terry's wide receiver, right? And a lot of them catches that he made was some great passes. You know, I was like trying to think of who's a really good quarterback that had a great freshman year or rookie year, and next year was not that good. And I was thinking of RG3. And I look at RG3, his first year, he was phenomenal. He did a lot of running. And he ran the ball extremely well, right? And then he made some plays with his arm. But then I said, can I compare him to McDaniels? And I'm thinking about it, and I can't because if Jayden Daniels couldn't run, he'd still be really, really good. Yeah. And I watched the second year when RG3 wasn't running as much, he couldn't read, he couldn't really throw. When you watch Jayden Daniels, you don't see that. You see, I can run it if I need to, and I can throw it. And he wants to throw first before he runs. And that right there lets me know how smart and intelligent he really is. So going forward, if you ask me, yo, will this guy have a sophomore slump? Absolutely not. Because he has the talent, he has the smarts, and now they put some pieces around him. Now you add Debo in there with a good coordinator to mix that up. Then you get a good offensive lineman. He's going to have a great year. I hate it because he's in my division with my birds, but and we just keep it 100, a spade is spade. That young brother is box office. He's like that.
If it was a Jayden Daniels conversation, I'd agree with everything everybody here is saying. It's not. Can the Commanders duplicate their success? I don't think so. Not because I agree with everything Shady said. Imagine I say all that. The dilemma is, can they be one of the 2 best teams in the NFC again next year? It's going to be incredibly tough. Also, if you think about it, they probably shouldn't have gone as far as they went last year. I mean, first off, think about how it shook out. You get in a position where you get to play the Bucs in the first round. You track with me? So that's the one thing.
Yeah. So on the road, though.
No doubt about it. Then you get a Lions team that obviously was maligned as can be, injured as can be, but Jared Goff was weak, and Jayden Daniels, he beat them down. But here's what I'm saying is, if they had to play the Eagles in the first matchup, they're not winning that. They're not beating the Eagles.
Yeah, but the Eagles or the Lions is like, they right there with each other.
The Lions, we were talking about the Lions as the best team in the NFL.
We thought Lions was going to beat, everybody thought they were going to beat them.
Well,
even while they were hurt, because they
remember, I don't like Jared Goff, so maybe I'm looking for.
But you didn't think they were going to beat Jared Goff at home with that.
No, I didn't think so.
No one did.
But here's what I'm saying is, things went well for the Commanders. Like, the Commanders caught a lot of breaks, which you need breaks. James suggests luck. I don't necessarily believe in luck in football, but, like, the Commanders caught a lot of breaks. To your point, if that Hail Mary doesn't shake out, instead of being, I think they are the 6th seed or the 5th seed, now you're the 7th seed. Now you do have to see the Eagles in the first game of the season. Now you do have to go to the Lincoln in the first playoff game. Now you lose in the first game, and now duplicating the success is just get back to the playoffs. Now duplicating the success means you got to get back to an NFC championship game. That's hard to do, man. Y'all know way better than me because y'all have been to championship games and won Super Bowls, but I just don't know how the Commanders will get back to an NFC championship game in a world where the Eagles already got a spot. So they there. But now there's one more spot left.
But once you go through it, though, because you got the Lions, who they beat last year.
Vikings.
Right? I'm not putting the Vikings in there yet. Because
Packers.
I mean, some team in the NFC North.
I'm not putting the Packers in there either.
Okay.
If you're going to put the Commanders in there, you got to
put the Packers.
Why?
And the Vikings.
Wait, hold on.
So who's your team?
Because the Packers are the team that we all want to see how great they were, but when they play good teams, all they did last year against good teams, James, is what?
Yeah, but this is a playoff team.
Hold on, James. Hold up. Let's one at a time. Answer my question, I answer yours.
They lost.
Because you're my boy. No. Every time they play good teams with good records.
You want me to say it again?
Yes.
They lost. I said it again.
All right.
How many times you want me to say it? They lost.
If you want to do one more time, I can take that. But on a serious note, they lost to them. So I'm not about to act like they're a real good team. I'm going to take the Lions. I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm going to take the Rams. Mm-hmm. Am I missing anybody else?
You don't think the Vikings?
I mean, we had a quarterback. I don't know what he's going to look like. That's like last year when they had.
You got to at least put the Packers in there, don't you, Five?
Yeah.
But see,
you got to put one of the NFC North teams.
But hold on.
No, go ahead. Lead the Packers out. Keep going. So you're saying there's 3 playoff teams legit in the NFC. That's what you're saying.
I think it's 3 of them that's like we can really take real serious. I mean, we can always like throw.
Eagles, Rams.
We can throw.
And the Commanders is the 4th team you can take real serious?
Yes. Because why not?
Over the
because you tell me the Green Bay Packers, they got a lot of talent. I know. We know that. We keep saying it. A lot of talent, great. Quarterbacks got a lot of talent, wide receivers, cool. But every time they play good teams, they lost. Every time they played a good team, I made sure I put my money on against them.
Not
They're gonna. I'm gonna smell out last year. Okay.
Did the Packers lose to the Lions both times?
Yes.
They lost them.
You see what I'm saying? The Vikings was beating up on them. Everybody's taking their turn. Eagles beat them twice. They're taking their turn on them.
Is the Lions in that group for you?
Talking about the Packers. Take them to the side, man. Everybody taking their turn with them. You want some of that pack, that green pack? Because everybody else is doing it. Everybody's taking some of that green pack.
So Lions, Rams, Eagles, and then Commanders.
Go ahead. We lost to good teams last year.
Every good one.
But he's tripping. It's 4 NFC teams, and he's saying the Commanders is one of them teams.
Good. I mean, you can't tell me.
Commanders roster is not even up there with the teams you leaving out.
But see, when you got that quarterback, that's what I'm saying. When them dudes making that money, it's a reason why.
Yeah.
That young boy that good.
He is good.
All right.
It'll be
I like
here.
it.
He ain't gonna mess with the Packers, though.
Hey, speaking of quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, we already know the deal got done. So what would success look like for Aaron Rodgers? Only $13.5 million was his deal, so you get what you pay for. That's what they say. What's $13.5 million and a 41-year-old quarterback get you? That's next.
Let me keep my Fox salad.
The wait for Aaron Rodgers, it has long been over. Finally, the Steelers have their guy for $13.5 million. So we know where he's playing, and we know for now, at least 1 year, how long he's playing, but we don't know what success would look like. Chase, what do you think a successful season would be for Aaron Rodgers?
Playoffs, 10 wins-ish. I know you got them at 9 to 10 wins. I'm just not sure how that happens. When you look at it, for me in the division, I think they're finishing third. I got them behind the Ravens and the Bengals.
The Bengals that ain't been there.
I think the Bengals are due for a run, to be honest. That's just how I feel with Joe Burrow.
I could do that.
And with Steelers, it's one of those things where I definitely think he makes them a stronger team with him. But at this point in his career, specifically talking to Aaron Rodgers, success is basically 100% dependent on team success. Because even if he goes out there and he throws for more interceptions than touchdowns, or he doesn't throw for a lot of yards and he looks bad, he's still making the Hall of Fame. He's still a 4-time MVP. He's still got a Super Bowl championship ring, right? So he really doesn't have time for development in his new role. Everything has to be now. Yeah. So for me, it's like if the Steelers are a success, and I think they will be with him, it just comes down to one of those things where, okay, Rodgers, like, almost like, why are you playing? Like, I know you love the game, but do you really think the Steelers are going to be, at least I don't, a playoff contender? That's the difference between making a playoffs. I mean, if he takes them to the Super Bowl, good for him. Like, I just don't know if that offensive line around him is good enough. I don't know if the defense is fixed from last year. Pittsburgh has the 10th toughest schedule in the NFL. There's just a lot of things stacked up against him. And quite honestly, for the 91 touchdowns that he's thrown in all the years, like the last 3 years he hasn't torn his Achilles, he hasn't made the playoffs since the MVP season in 2021. So that's 3 seasons without making the playoffs. So playoffs, for me, overwhelming success.
It's a good take. And I'm right with you, but I need a playoff win. I do not know how I'm going to come up here with my dog down there on the end. And if we seen Kenny Pickett,
Kenny,
and we seen Mason Rudolph, and we seen Justin Fields.
Oh, man. Wow.
And we seen Russell Wilson. And we seen, I mean, how many other quarterbacks he played with, Acho?
A couple bad ones.
A lot.
And all of them made it to the playoffs. So
That's a good point.
the Steelers,
Playoff win.
odds tell us no matter who the quarterback is, you're going to make it to the playoffs.
But the odds tell you.
Odds.
The odds tell you that. So I need a playoff win. But I definitely need the playoffs.
They might resign him if they get a playoff win.
Because if Aaron Rodgers come over here and this is the year they don't make the playoffs, Lord have mercy. So, but
Gotta be playoffs.
success, because like I showed, the 91 touchdowns, 24 picks, and all that type of stuff, we know Aaron Rodgers can still play good football. But the other stat that's not good is the wins. So success for the Pittsburgh Steelers is the wins, and success is Aaron Rodgers winning a playoff game. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback the Steelers has had in a minute. Success is a playoff win, and anything after that's a bonus, Acho.
I agree. I think success is be as good as you've been for the Steelers, as good as the Steelers have been for the last 6-7 years. Go to the playoffs. Maybe be more competitive in the playoffs. You know, the margin of defeat in the playoffs is 14 points, but just be as good. If we're being honest about Aaron Rodgers, he's 41 years old and he's only making $13 million. So let's not make our expectations that high. You know, in life, you get what you pay for. You getting a 41-year-old quarterback that's $13 million, what do you want, Steelers fans? Like, what can you actually ask for? You can't ask for 15 wins. You didn't pay for 15 wins. You paid $13 million. You paid for 9 wins and maybe a playoff appearance. That's what you paid for. So you can't cheat the NFL. You can't cheat the quarterback position. Full transparency, if he doesn't succeed, I'm going to be like, you only paid him $13 million, so he should succeed. That's why I would get mad when people are like, this backup ain't contributing. The backup's making $600,000. Look at Shady. Ask Shady why he ain't contributing. Because Shady the one making $14 million on a football field. So you get what you pay for. When we talk about how teams have bad defenses, the Bengals don't have great defense. They ain't paying the defense to be great. You paying the offense to be great. So tell the offense to be better. Because T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow, they making all the money. The Steelers' defense is the one making all the money. So Steelers' defense, y'all better be good. Steelers' offense, I can't be mad if Jaylen Warren ain't good. I can't be mad if Aaron Rodgers, $13 million ain't good. I can be mad if T.J. Watt ain't good.
Yeah.
I can be mad if Megan Fitzpatrick ain't good. I can be mad if Patrick Crean ain't good. But I can't be mad if people you ain't paying don't play that well. You get what you pay for. They ain't paying them a lot of money.
Really quick before Shady goes, there was a quarterback that they paid $10 million last year that wore purple, and they won 14, 15 games.
Darnold.
So we can't be sitting on. They paid for that.
They got
totally
14 for
different.
10.
So I mean, Aaron, my dog, come on now, Aaron. Come on,
Well,
dog.
I heard what y'all saying, James. I heard what you said about the wins, and I heard what you said. And that's like, let's just be making the playoffs. Let's keep it short and sweet. I think it's the way everything's set up. It's like the Farewell Tour. I feel like when Kobe and Jordan with the Wizards, it was like, man, this is our last time to see this great player. And I remember my dad, scrambling, to get money to go to the tickets to watch him play in D.C. with the Wizards, right? I'm like, yo, why you so? Because it's the last time we're going to see Michael Jordan in a jersey. Aaron Rodgers he's been bad lately, man. Let's be honest. I know James talking about some stats, but overall, though, I mean, he hasn't won a playoff game in the last 5 years.
Teams have been bad, yes.
Well, he's part of the team. I
know.
So okay, you're right. So the teams that he's been part of.
You've been really good and probably on some bad teams.
So the teams he's been part of, okay?
Okay.
He hasn't won a playoff game in 5 years. He hasn't been in the playoffs in 3 years. So it's like, let's not this because of the name. It's funny. Once he signed to the Steelers, a lot of the celebrities, a lot of sports figures, they all, retweeted it, commented on it because he's such a big name. Kevin Durant, he's a Washington Commanders fan. He's commenting about Aaron Rodgers because he's such a great name. People love to see him.
Sure.
So I think all that being said, let the brother go to the playoffs. He hasn't been playing meaningful football in a long time.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I don't really watch a lot
Get
of
to the
bum
dance,
teams
man.
play unless I have to do it for my job, right? But I hate watching a whole bunch of bad teams playing each other. It's like bad football. And I've been doing it last year with Aaron Rodgers. Like, oh man, Aaron, that nice play right there. Even though you're down 14, it's too late. You see what I'm saying? So I think it was good for Aaron Rodgers playing some meaningful football again, get to the playoffs. And then even with the win part, I ain't even tripping about the win part. Just get there, bro. Please.
Go ahead and trip about the
Hey,
win part.
breaking news occurred this morning when the Packers released two-time All-Pro Jaire Alexander.
That was crazy.
This is a massive, massive deal. A team that has Super Bowl expectations, and they got rid of maybe their best defensive player. What? Where do you do that at? Cowboys of a loss to Jaire Alexander for the Packers. That's next.
But when you get cut from Green Bay, that's like a good thing. Who wants to live there?
Reports say the Packers will release cornerback Jaire Alexander, a two-time All-Pro, but has dealt with injuries the last 2 seasons. Packers, they start their mandatory minicamp tomorrow, asking the Green Bay Packer legend James Jones on set. James, Jaire Alexander release, big deal or no deal? You know that team well.
It's a big deal. I'm not one of them players. I don't care about baggage, anything come with you. It's an all-pro player, man. Off of your team, off of your roster, at a spot, to be honest with you, that's probably a soft spot on our football team. When you look at the corner spot, you lost Eric Stokes, who was a first-rounder to the Las Vegas Raiders, and now you're going to lose Jaire Alexander, after you release him. You sign Nate Hobbs, who I believe is a really good player. You still have Keyshawn Nixon over there, but corner is going to be a spot for the Green Bay Packers that I'm going to keep my eye on this season. But this is an all-pro player, man, that you can kind of run different coverages with too, Acho, when you got a guy out there that can lock down. We've seen this dude lock down plenty of times with Justin Jefferson, and take Justin Jefferson out of the ball game and get in Justin Jefferson's head. He's the leader. He's a dog out there. This is going to be a big blow on the defensive side of the ball for the Packers, especially a team that has a chance to go compete for a championship, man. I think this is going to be huge for them. We're going to see how it plays out.
I think it's a big deal. Anytime you lose an all-pro player, regardless of position, it's a huge deal. And some people are going to say, oh, he's not the player he once was. It's availability, right? He missed 20 games in the last 2 years. It's not that complicated. They wanted, and I say Green Bay wanted someone that they knew was going to suit up. And be honest with you, when you're watching this defense and Jaire Alexander's out there at corner, it is a completely different defense.
Agreed.
They literally man him up and say no safety help. He can shut down the best of the best. He can still play at a high level. It's just his availability, right? Your best ability is availability. So, yes, they got worse. That's what I say. Do you get better or do you get worse when you lose a guy? right? They got worse by losing Jaire Alexander.
I'll keep it quick. For me, the reason I have an issue with it, I'm curious with Matt LaFleur. I think Matt LaFleur and Jaire Alexander were at odds far too often. And to me, the best coaches, they know how to deal with the different types of personalities. Remember when Jaire Alexander got suspended a game because he went out there with the captains for the coin toss in his hometown of Charlotte, even though he's not a captain. And so Matt LaFleur suspended him the next game. They've been at odds ever since that moment. I'm not sure how many of those games Jaire Alexander missed due to injury. Could he have played otherwise? So to me, Matt LaFleur, I'm just wondering, like, you're going to have a whole bunch of different personality types like Andy Reid. I would like to have seen them keep Jaire Alexander.
Yeah. This is a big deal. You're losing an all-pro player, really good cornerback. You're going to need him. We talked about how the Packers been struggling against good teams. Well, why not get an all-pro type cornerback to play them games, right? And another thing is they talk about missing a lot of games. Well, some of that's because issues with the coaches, issues with the contracts. Yeah, maybe he was more healthier than people thought, but I'm not going out there and put my life on the line, my body on the line, when you don't want to give me the deal that I deserve, but you'll pay a quarterback in his first year because of he's a quarterback. You see what I'm saying? This thing is bigger than me, man. This thing is bigger than me, dog. For real. Jaire, look, real quick, I don't want to give you a message, but this message the little birdie said, the Eagles will give you that money you want.
Take us to break.
That money you need, come to Philadelphia. We want you good.
Eagles could use
Bills?
a cornerback. Bills could too. Hey, when we return, whoa, it's time for a fun little segment. It's the most fun one of the day. It's too difficult for me to describe in this moment. But anyway, should Dak Prescott be happy with his offensive targets? What about Rodgers? What about Justin Herbert? We're having fun with some emojis. That's next in the facility. Quarterbacks will be used to getting new playmakers. We'll be getting used to their playmakers during minicamp. So we need to say how exactly these quarterbacks should feel about their current situations with the help of some emojis. The first time working this segment out. So let's start with Dak Prescott. Remember, Dak Prescott got the new addition of George Pickens. Plus, he has Javonte Williams, but that picture alone doesn't do justice. You got Miles Sanders there. You got Blue, the rookie running back. You got GP, and then you got Jake Ferguson. Shady, how should Dak feel about his offensive weapons?
He should be happy. He should be smiling. I don't do a lot of emojis, but
With the sunglasses.
Come on now.
I like it.
Now, if I ask them how they feel, they ain't gonna be smiling. Let me just mind my business.
Keep the cool emoji.
I think he should be smiling. I don't know if you got me with the sunglasses. I think he should be smiling. I think I should be looking at those different people, and he should be out there too cool for school.
Too cool for
So
school.
sunglasses, I got laughing. He's laughing at all his critics. I think he's gonna have a much better year this year than last year. That's it.
Man, when you got the star on your helmet, you should be a little star-eyed, man. When you look to where the star-eyed? There you
Oh, we
go.
can do that one?
When you look to the right, you see C.D. Lamb, all-pro. And then you look to the left, and you see George. Should be star-eyed,
For the
dog.
sake of time, we got to move. Justin Herbert and the Chargers have added himself some new weapons. You got Najee Harris, you still got Ladd McConkey, you got Mike Williams back, and then you made an addition at tight end. How should they feel? How should Herbert feel?
I'm pissed off myself. Bad words and all that.
I got he should have his mouth zipped, because if he speak, he might say something a little offensive. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to say nothing.
I'm of the same. I got the crying sad, the emoji face. Like, you went out there, you got Ladd McConkey.
Everybody
Come on,
sad
man.
for him.
Get some other people in the building. What you got said?
Yeah, you know how your mom always
Right.
used to tell you, I wish you would. So, mouth is zipped. I ain't saying
If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Aaron Rodgers, he officially signed, and now he has some new weapons because he has a new team. DK Metcalf, you still got Jalen Warren out there, along with a little bit of other help. Pat Fryer moves at the end. 2-5. How should Rodgers feel?
Zip it up, homie. You ain't been in the playoffs in so long. The players forgot what you look like. So just take it easy. Deal with your team. And you got great. You 40-something. Just have a good time. This is the last set. The last one.
That's right.
Last ride.
Yo, you go from Devontae Adams, you go from James Jones, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb to this? Now I'm crying. I'm crying if I'm
I
Aaron
got
Rodgers.
DK, dog.
If I'm Aaron Rodgers. One DK.
All right, yeah, I'm with Shady. I got zipper mouth, man. Just show up and play football. That's your last year, man. Hadn't won a playoff game in 5 years. Haven't been back since 3. Keep it quiet. What you got? Probably smiling, right? Hey! Hey! Okay, I'm with the sweep. I thought you messed it up.
Lastly, Caleb Williams. He's joining a star-studded cast. Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Luther Burns, DeAndre Swift, first-round pick
Come on
Colson
now.
Loveland. Shady, how should he feel?
He got his nails painted. Now put your glasses on, dog. You know what I mean? Shout at everybody. You got really good offensive weapons, but also you got a great coach, Ben Johnson. You should be smiling. If you can't ball out with him, I'm gonna leave it at
The
that.
lights is bright. Put your sunglasses on, Caleb. It's gonna be hard to see with all them stars.
Yeah, same. And mainly because of the coach that they went out and got him. They built this entire team around Caleb. Now it's time to shine.
Shay, do you ever lined up in the backfield and you see them linebackers over there and you just start laughing because you think like, you finna tackle me? Come on, man. You should be laughing.
you
think you gonna guard all my boys out here, man? It's finna be a good season for us.
Hey, good season, good segment. When we return, it's time for a Blitz Meeting. I'm confident Derrick Henry can rush for 2,000 yards. Adam Sandler says he'll put him in a movie if he can. That's next.
That's pretty dope.
Hey, it's time for a Blitz Meeting. Lamar Jackson already has his MVPs along with Josh Allen, but there are several stars looking to get their first MVP this season. So, Shady, who has the best chance to win their first MVP this season?
I'm going with the best quarterback I've ever seen as a rookie, Jayden Daniels.
I like that one.
I think he won the MVP for sure.
That's a real good answer. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. Surprisingly, Joe still has no All-Pros. I think this is the year he finally gets his MVP and at least an All-Pro.
Yeah, I got the best quarterback, not MVP, in the whole league, and that's Joe Burrow. He hasn't got it yet. He hasn't even been to the playoffs in 2 years. You got to make the playoffs at least. Give me an All-Pro, not a Pro Bowl.
I knew everybody was going to go quarterback, so I had to go with wideouts. I know, but I had to go with wideout because Justin Jefferson's going to be out there with a rookie, and if he can ball and go crazy with a rookie, I think he might have solid.
They don't be winning it, though. Like, you just wasting
They
time.
might be winning.
You wasting paper. Nah, the receivers don't be winning the award.
Yeah, I know. You just wasting time.
Hey, at one point, we got somebody
Sooner or later.
Don't waste my time.
Hey, a recent article says Matthew Stafford is one good season away from earning a Hall of Fame spot. Shady, is Stafford already Hall of Famer?
Is he not? One of the greatest arms I've ever seen. And he got a championship. What we talking about?
Is he a Hall of Fame?
I say yeah. Trevor 09, he's still playing good football? No?
Definitely not. He has his championship, obviously. It wasn't the Super Bowl MVP in that. One Super Bowl alone, I don't think does that. I think he still has a collective losing record as a starter, so I'm going to say no.
He was with the Lions
What about his stats, though?
for 13
He
years.
got stats.
I say yes. He's 10th all-time in passing yards and 10th all-time in passing touchdowns. Plus a Super Bowl. He's, yes, first ballot, maybe not. Hall of Fame, bro. Come on now. 10th? In both?
Hall of Fame.
Top 10, dog.
Yeah, he's getting
I just go off of these two right here. And it's a lot of dudes in the Hall of Fame that can't really mess with Stafford.
Of course.
You got to have the stats up. But he does,
But yo,
and he looks like it.
But what about the top 10 stuff?
The reason for
Yo,
me
what
with
about
that
top
is
10?
that could be a matter of how long you played. Like Matt Ryan is 8th in passing yards. So Matt Ryan, I can't suggest Matt Ryan is already
you
a
know
Hall
how
of Famer.
good of a player you have to be to 10th all-time?
Matt Ryan is 8th.
Regardless of how much you do it at a consistent
Derek
level.
Carr is like 14.
Do you have Matt Ryan and Matthew
Fumble.
Stafford on the same
How did that
level?
just drop?
I think Stafford was better.
Thank you.
But I feel like, I look at it like Mike Evans, I look at Stafford kind of in the same.
Ryan has an
stats, you know
MVP.
what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair.
what you're saying.
Ryan has an
But we're
MVP.
doing one more, Coleman. Derrick Henry, 2,000 yards. Y'all think he's going to get it? Yes or no?
Yes. He had 1,900 yards. He didn't even get the ball a lot of times last year. Yeah, he's going to get 2,000.
It's hard to do. Shady knows better than me, but I'm going to say no still.
I got a yes,
Same with
because
that king.
they're going to get put in an Adam Sandler movie itself. So, yeah, added motivation.
2K is.
You see how consistent his stats are the last 6 years?
I know.
Hey, that is it for us.
Once, he's done it.
Hey, man,